Welcome, everyone from the press corps. We're glad to have you here. I would be to say that I'm excited about the new release of my book would be an understatement to say the least. The Levite Today. And any of you who have ever written anything or authored anything, whether it's a book or a news column, you know that the hardest thing is getting started. And having something to say or not having something to say, while it can be a handicap, does not get in the way of producing literature, apparently. But I did have something to say that I think was very important in the Levite Today. The Levite Today is a treatment that examines the power of arts in communication and behavior modification. And in the Levite Today, I have paralleled biblical scriptures with science, showing how they are comparable to producing behavior modification in human beings. A lot of what is in the book is not new. It's science. A lot of the science is 20 years old, I found out. The Levite Today is not a how-to or a textbook. It is, in fact, my experiences up to now. Many of the things that I have in the Levite Today are philosophy and scriptures and findings that are not new. But what I've done is brought all of those things together to show how the Christian artist today has more of a responsibility than they're aware of. And so what I do in the Levite Today, my purpose of writing the book is to encourage the Christian artist to seek and to determine their position in the office of the Levite. So that's what the purpose of the Levite Today. I'm sure many of you have probably already read the book. While I know that with reporters, facts and information have never stopped you from writing a story. So I want to open it up to the press corps if you have any questions, and I'm sure you do.
Mr. Edge,
Yes.
I'm Yvonne Lansendale, and I'm with the Community Rag.
Yes.
I noticed that you talked about Christians several times.
Yes.
Is that your specific audience, or do you think that this may have some relevance to other people, even in corporate America, other people dealing with that behavior modification issue?
It's a good question. Yeah, the target market is specifically to the Christian because being born again opens one up and gives one access to God who created this form of communication. And so it's sort of like having the correct software and having the correct alignment to access the information one is needed to do it. So it is, but it can be used as many things. Many things that are biblical are used by people who are not Christians, such as money management and those kinds of things. So it can be used. And as I said, it parallels science, and the science in there has nothing to do with Christianity.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mr. Edge, Gail from the Waukesha Freeman. What exactly, could you define for us what a Levite is? Levite is a biblical term. How does it affect the story and your title?
Well, the Levites was the tribe of the Levites, the Levi tribe, which Moses came from, and Aaron his brother, were designated among the 12 tribes of Israel to administer the temple duties. They were selected by God specifically to do the sacrifices, to make sure that all of the worship was in accordance with the way God had given Moses, dictated to Moses that it should be done, and that made sure everything was done correctly. And within that, there were some that made sacrifice. Some shoveled the coals to prepare the fire. There were gatekeepers. And then there was the Musicians Guild, which was established by King David, whose job was totally 24/7 was to play musical instruments and prophesy. They basically downloaded the heart of God into the atmosphere. And there's actually a scripture in the Numbers 9th chapter, not Numbers of 2nd Chronicles 9th chapter, 1st Chronicles 9th chapter, that says that they were freed up from any other work in the temple. And so that is what a Levite is. And so the Levite today who are not necessarily in the temple, but they are believers and they are Christian artists, have pretty much that same duty.
Mr. Edge, this is Alana McGreevy. I'm from the Women's Press downtown. So what inspired you to do this book? Why'd you write the book? Don't you have
Well,
anything else to do?
I'm a Christian and I'm also an artist. And I'm also a card-carrying confirmed nerd. So I love science and I've known a lot of these things, and so while I perform, I always endeavor to impress my audience and to change my audience. Whenever I perform, I never want the audience, whether it's stand-up comedy or whether it's theater or singing, I never want my audience to remain the same as they were before I came in. And so I realized that significance of just reading the scriptures I stumbled upon, actually. First Chronicles, I saw this information about the Musicians Guild and the prophets. I thought, oh my God, I've been doing this for 40 years and I never realized the significance and the power of behavior modification vis-a-vis the scriptures and science.
Mr. Edge, I'm sorry, I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
In the media today, there's a lot of information about priests and Catholicism and pedophilia, and there's a lot of stuff that came out this week about the Mormons and how controlling they are and the stuff that they do.
Yes.
And every week you hear something about ministers and priests in God's work. How do you think your book is going to be received in this kind of media stuff? Do you think we need that?
Well, I think we need it more than ever in light of what you just said. Because while there's a lot of attention, negative attention placed upon those who claim to be in the priests and ministers, there are millions and millions who never get any press in terms of what they do positive. And there are many people who could testify to the goodness of those. And another thing too, you've heard the saying said that just because you're in a garage does not make you a car. And in the scriptures it says we judge by the fruit. So I think we should all be fruit inspectors. If they're not exhibiting the things of Jesus Christ and the heart of God, are they really ministers? Are they really priests? And so that's the question that we need to ask about this. And so when you read the Levite today, I actually give a description, detailed description in the book of what a born-again Christian, the born-again process, and the lifestyle that one leads after they receive that process. And so then those who are not even Christians will be able to differentiate between those who are real and those who are not.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your time. You can check, my publicist will give you more information about how to get the book, The Levite Today. My name is Alan Edge, and thank you so much.